Hi everyone, welcome to Tweenies Spot show here on TV Sapienza. Of course, we are live on TSTV channel 360, StarTime channel 260, and free to air channel 51.5 East. Tweenies Spot show is that program we've created for young ones between the ages of 11 to young adults of 20, 21, 22. We catch them young by giving them responsibilities, and once in a while we'll try to have conversations and discussions surrounding teenagers, just like the ones we will be having today on the program. And I'm super duper excited. Of course, my name is Oma, your very sweetheart on TV. I have with me amazing, delectable, intelligent, beautiful I call her Auntie Ogonna. Auntie Ogonna, glad to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
And you look beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So today on the program we will be looking at academic tips for academic success. Of course, we all know that very soon schools will be reopening. The holidays are over. So right now it's back to school. Okay, so and in a short while, I mean in a few weeks time, a lot of schools, some schools have actually started.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
some resume today.
And so many will be resuming in the coming weeks. So and all these kids, they will be moving over to a new class.
Yes.
And we all know how it is when you're moving into a new class, you know. So we are looking at academic tips for success, because for someone that was in JS1 will be moving to JS2, someone that was in JS2 will be moving to JS3, and someone that was in JS3 will be moving over to SS1.
That's
for
true.
Someone that was in SS1, SS2, for SS2, SS3.
Yeah.
Okay. So we will be looking at the tips. Of course, Auntie Ogonna, she's a teacher with Regina Patches Model Secondary School, located here in Onitsha. Welcome once again to Tweenies Spot show.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
So let's look at this from your experience. Before we got on set, we were talking about how long you've been in the teaching profession.
Yes.
I mean, tell us how long.
Well, I've been teaching for the past 9 years, and I started with Regina Patches, and I'm still with
them.
Regina Patches.
That means they're really doing well, you know.
Yeah, they are.
For you to still be there.
They are.
So we will tap into your experiences as a teacher.
Right.
I mean, for 9 years, you've witnessed students move from one class to the other. Okay? And before we got on to that, I was telling you that you've bettered a lot of people. I mean, you've encouraged, inspired. You know, I really think that teachers should be paid more. And you, I mean, having watched you, I'm not going to say so much about you here, but maybe in the subsequent edition that you appear on the show, I'm going to talk about you. But let's look at, from your experience, what are the tips? What do you think that, because we're going to look at the students, we're also going to look at the teachers, we're also going to look at the parents, because everybody, I mean, we're all in this together. So what tips, what should a student do and have at the back of their minds as they move into a new class?
All right. So first of all, there is this excitement of moving to a new class. One who is in JS1 is already anticipating that he or she is going to a new class. So the first thing for every child is to be grateful. One,
grateful.
You have to be grateful because you have done well for you to move to the next class.
Okay.
And then the next thing you should do as a student is to set your goals.
Okay.
You must set goals. You must set goals because...
What do you mean by setting goals? Because, you know, I remember when I was in secondary school.
Yes.
I get to hear about these things. Set goals. But I don't think all through my secondary school I ever set goals. Maybe you should tell me about it. And I didn't know. So tell us about it.
When I say set goals, you know, as a child, an observant child, when I mean, you should know your results. You've seen your results. You've seen the subjects you were doing well in.
Okay.
And you've seen the ones you struggle in.
Okay.
So now the ones you struggle in, set goals to better these subjects.
Okay.
Try as much as possible to at least know the reasons why you are not doing well in those subjects.
Okay.
Know if you are the problem or the teacher is the problem.
Okay.
And if you are the problem, what are you to do? I oftentimes tell students that the first thing for every academic success on any subject is to love that subject.
Okay.
Create love for that subject. Don't say, oh, maths is always making me so tired. I'm scared of maths, and maybe I don't know. I don't even like, once this teacher enters, I'm scared. I feel somehow.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Is it loving the subject or loving the teacher? Which one?
Love the subject, one. Love the teacher.
What if it's a situation where the teacher is what do I say?
I know what you want to say, but
let me share something with you.
Okay.
I found out the last time I went to my parents' house.
Yes.
I saw my secondary school results.
Okay.
It was amazing. What my form teacher wrote in my results. Yes. One of the results she wrote, she is a notorious noise maker.
Oh my God.
Yes. I was like, was I making noise? When I came home, I was asking myself, this woman that wrote this thing, what was she thinking? Was she trying to make my parents beat the hell out of me, or for them to know that she's actually making noise?
Well, if I can come into that, you see, the mode of correction, or what I say appraisal, in the past, maybe in the 20th century teaching, cannot work in this present.
Right?
Yes. You know, then there was this bluntness with adults towards the young ones. You find out that the adults are always quick to rebuke, and sometimes they rebuke at that over extreme level. So
I have a lot of experience.
Yes, because when you tell a child you're a notorious noise maker, for crying out loud, you have put that child in so much. In fact, I think
that teacher didn't like me one bit.
No, it's not good. I don't advise it. I don't advise you to do that. There are better ways. You as a teacher, you have failed if that child continued making noise under your supervision. I expected you as a teacher to help that child know that noise is something that is abhorred when in class, and there are better ways to do it.
Okay.
Now, pushing it out on the child's result sheet, are you not telling the parents that you have done nothing, and maybe that the parents should not train the child to stop making noise? It's your job to control that child and help that child lessen that attitude of noise making in class. Okay. You don't need to blow it out.
Okay. Now let's move back to the place where we are talking about
setting goals.
And of course, you talked about loving the subject. And teacher as well.
Yes.
Let me share another experience with you. When I was in secondary school. I found out that in my SS1, I somehow loved mathematics. Because there was this copper Alex, that taught us maths in SS1. In fact, when I went through my results, I found an A in maths. Now after SS1, SS2, I couldn't even have an A. Not even a B, not even a C. I had gone backwards. Because there was a particular teacher that now handled us. And probably it was difficult for me to understand. So let me come back to where you're talking about loving the subject and loving the teacher.
Well, why I said this about the teacher, because it's very easy to love the subject.
Okay.
And sometimes you might want to love that particular teacher, and that teacher is not giving room for that love. It's very difficult, but the need to love the teacher is what you should look at.
Okay.
And not actually whether you can do it or not. If I enter your class, maybe you see me as a mean teacher. Sometimes students interpret strictness of a teacher to being wicked.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
So that child have to remove that mindset that your teacher is wicked.
Yeah.
And start seeing that positive side of what the teacher is doing.
Okay.
That way, that child can easily learn.
Okay.
Because if I come into your class and you're scared of me, automatically everything I'm going to do throughout that day is going to be a waste to that child. That child is going to learn nothing. Because the child will always be careful. Is this teacher going to scold me? Is this teacher going to punish me? Is this teacher going to send me out? And at the end of the day, the child is not paying attention to the class, but to being careful not to be punished.
Okay.
The child has lost something. So your mindset is the number one as a student.
Okay.
Don't see your teachers as being wicked.
Okay.
Try as much as possible to love them,
because they will be meeting new
you
teachers.
will be meeting them.
Everybody will meet new teachers.
Of course. And you're meeting a new teacher. Now, sometimes it might even be that the one that taught you in JS1 will still carry you along.
Okay.
In JS. Some schools do that.
Okay.
They'll carry you from, some teachers will teach from JS1 to JS3 and come again from JS1 to JS3.
Okay.
So even if that teacher continues with you, just remove the mindset that she's wicked.
Okay.
Face what you have come to learn. And that's why you have to avoid distraction, because your mindset at that point is already a distraction.
Yeah.
Avoid the distraction of what your mind is telling you, that this teacher is wicked. So love your teacher, love your subject.
Okay.
And if you're able to do that, that way you can easily learn. Your mind is already at ease. You will learn better. Then when you've done that, I was talking about setting goals.
Setting goals. You've talked about being grateful.
Being grateful, yes.
Then setting goals.
Setting goals,
loving the teacher and the subject.
Yes. Then the next one is try from the first day. Start doing well from the first day. Start being diligent from the first day.
Okay.
Because I remember a wise man, the Reverend Father Jerome Ezewelu, he will always tell you that your first day in school will actually lead to what you can be at the end of that term.
Okay.
If you didn't start well, just know that you're not going to end well. So from that first day, so many schools start with resumption tests.
Yeah.
Have you prepared for that resumption test? And it goes with a mark.
Yeah.
Every resumption test is equally added to
and that resumption test is in the first week, right?
Yes, it's always some schools do it on the first day of resumption.
Is there a particular reason why that resumption test comes? Is it to make sure that students are in school?
First, there are reasons for that.
Okay.
Number one reason is to be sure that your students come back on that first day.
Okay.
The second reason is that child didn't play away her time or his time during the holiday.
Okay.
Because the questions always asked are usually what you did in the previous term.
Okay.
Yeah, what you did in the previous term is what is asked. And again, that starts your first assessment for that new term. Okay. So you are coming in there believing that you were not playing all through your holiday. Okay. You were doing something, you were visiting your books while on holiday. And then when you come for that test, what will be asked is usually the previous term. Don't think they will ask you something you don't know. Yeah. And if you didn't do well on that subject in your previous term, automatically you may not be able to answer anything on that resumption day. Good. So the resumption test comes, and the next thing is that the schools and the teachers will always give out scheme of work. Okay. On all those subjects. That scheme of work is your roadmap for that subject. So as a student, you start studying from the day they gave you your scheme of work. And again, make it a point of duty that for me to understand this teacher, let me read ahead of the teacher. Okay. Read each topic before the teacher comes in. You were giving your textbooks. So that's another place when we come into what parents should also do for their children. There should be availability of these textbooks to the students. And if these textbooks are not in place, that child may not have something to fall back on at home. You know, sometimes you may say, okay, the school might have ICT. It's not all schools have ICT for children to make researches. But the textbook will help them to read ahead of their teachers. So this textbook, the scheme of work is not for you to know, oh, this teacher is coming. I'm sure that this is the topic the teacher will start with. Because that's what some students do. They'll be like, oh, okay, what is she going to teach us today? Oh, she's going to start with noun. That's what is on this scheme. No! You are giving that scheme for you to go home and prepare before the class. And read ahead. And read ahead before the teacher.
Talking about reading ahead before the teacher, there's an experience I'm going to share with you, but that will be after this time. We need to take a break right now, of course. Still here on Tweenies Spot show on TV Sapiencia. We are discussing tips for academic success for this September. For this new academic session. Of course, I am Oma, your very sweetheart on TV, and I have with me Auntie Ogonna. That's the name. I love calling her that name, but her full name is Ogonna Uzoma, a teacher from Regina Patches Model Secondary School located in Onitsha here. Stay with us. We'll be right back. This is what you do.
Yes.
All right. Okay, we are just having a discussion. I was just talking with Auntie Ogonna. We were talking about how to make the program even greater. But I told her that I intend to have more teachers because they have more experience, you know, because we are talking to teenagers, we are talking to students, you know, learning from their experiences, sharing it with these teenagers, it will help them because this program is all about teenagers. Welcome back to Tweenies Spot show here on TV Sapiencia. I am Oma, Auntie Oma. Yeah, the Tweenies, they call me Auntie Oma.
Yeah.
So, Auntie Ogonna, glad to have you here with us.
Same here.
So, I told you I was going to share an experience.
Yeah.
Of course, we've been talking about academic success, tips for academic success for this new session. Auntie Ogonna, she has talked about being grateful, knowing that you did well to be in another class. She also talked about setting goals, okay? And she's talked about falling in love with the subject and with the teacher, knowing the fact that you will meet new teachers, even though
you might continue
with some teachers, but these are new subjects, new things, you know, loving your teachers, accepting them, okay? So, and moving on, we've talked about a lot of things. What other tips, what other things do you think students should do?
The next
you know, we were talking about scheme of work.
Scheme of work, yes.
Okay.
I was talking about scheme of work, that the child should get prepared before time. And
I told you I was going to share a story.
Yes, okay. You said that.
So, when I was in SS1, I don't forget that story. My economics teacher, okay, she was talking about scale of preference, priorities.
Okay.
She asked the question. I stood up and I said, she was talking about priorities.
Yeah.
I stood up and I said, prioritize it. As at that time.
Yes.
Do you know this woman shut me down? Yes. She said, what's prioritize? What's prioritize? Sit down. Yes. I didn't feel bad because I knew I was right. I did not feel bad. My classmates, they all laughed at me.
Yes.
They laughed at me. Then, fast forward it 2 years later, one of my classmates, I schooled at St. John of God Secondary School, Oka.
Right.
One of my classmates saw me in Oka years later after university, when I've already started working. She saw me in Oka and she said, Choma, come. Do you remember that day we were in class and our economics teacher said this and you said prioritize? Do you know I just saw it in the dictionary the other day? She said, you're intelligent too. You've been reading since so. Now, you talked about a student reading ahead of the teacher.
Yeah.
The teachers, are they open enough to accept the fact that, yes, this student read ahead of me? Because from that incident, if I remembering that thing, does it make me angry? I don't know whether it made me angry. I don't know. But the way I still remember how she shut me down. I still remember what she wore that day. I still remember everything.
Yeah.
And the fact that she shut me down simply because she didn't know that English prioritize. Now, this was way back in 2000. Long years ago. Now, you've now told us, students, that they should read ahead.
Yes.
If you're given the scheme of work, read ahead. What if a situation the student reads ahead? And maybe the teacher is the type that does not understand that prioritize is in English, is in dictionary. And the teacher the student says something and the teacher shuts the student down. Tell us more about it, because you're a teacher.
Well, yeah, as a teacher, the first thing that we always make to understand is that you must be well prepared for any class you enter. Because the scheme of work is not only for the students to read ahead.
Okay.
You as a teacher also need to prepare well. And again, there are times, there's always this analogy I always use. I always tell my students, we are all learning here.
Okay.
I learn as well as you learn. So there are situations where you can throw some questions to me, and at that moment I can see that I've not even gone as far as you, the student, have gone. At that moment, you have to make yourself ready to calm down and hear your students talk, because as you are teaching them, they can as well teach you. At that moment, I don't rule it out that I am the master when I'm in class. I make a relationship with my students, and I advise every teacher to do that as well. Don't push it out when you meet a smart student, because there are these smart students
with the Gen Z of these days.
Yes, because we're in an age where that if you are still dwelling on the textbooks, the children are already going on the net.
I'm telling you.
So why then come into class and you meet a child that is has already done so much, and to some extent has even done more than you as a teacher? It shouldn't be. They shouldn't do more than you. But if it happens at all, try as much as possible not to rebuff that student. Because that's number one way of making that child feel less of herself. With your self-experience, I know that once you enter that class, you're already out of it, or except you are able to guide yourself. Well,
there was something a colleague of mine told me one day, which I didn't realize until he said it. He said, Oma, you have natural boldness.
Good.
So I guess, as at that time, I didn't even feel it. Because I knew it.
Good.
I know it. I've read it. It's in the dictionary. So for me, I know it's the teacher that does not know it. But I did not make a case out of it.
Yes.
And my classmates, they all laughed. Ilemene Kachamalo or Kachamalo, because that's what they call me then, or Kachamalo. Okay. It is not Okachamalo. It's just that the question was put through. And I know it. And I answered. Maybe my teacher did not understand, so these things are really, really important.
The teacher should do so much to be over-prepared to some extent before entering a class. When you are not prepared and you enter a class, there are students that are smart, as I always say.
Gen Z.
They are high flyers.
Gen Z.
That will always come into that class and let you know that, Auntie, we are ready for this class. And you are also ready. And if you are not ready, they must develop something for you. Either they see you as one that is not always serious. And now, once you do that, do you know you have moved a certain percentage of some students into laziness? So if you are not diligent, the students will not equally be moving at that fast pace with you. So if at all you've given them that scheme of work, be ready to know that there are some smart students that will go farther than you when you come to class. So you should also be on your toes to be well prepared before a class.
And so then we just have 2 minutes to be.
Okay. The last one I want to come in is study habits.
Okay.
Some schools, if you bother, you must know that there are prep times.
Okay.
So during that prep time, make good use of your prep times. Every assignment given to you, please don't joke with it, because every assignment is having a mark awarded to it.
Okay.
So do well to do your assignments well. Take every classwork like a pre-exam.
Okay.
Because if you always say, let me wait till the day of exam, no. In your school, they already give you the tablets the way your scores and your assessments come. A note has something going with it. A classwork, a midterm test, a project. Make sure you don't play with all these things, because if you always play with them, at the end of the day, the 60 marks left for exam, you may not be able to cover it up. So you have been given 40. I believe that's what Anambra State does. 40 marks goes to the assessment before the exam. Please do well that at least your list in that assessment is at 8.
Okay.
I don't think that there's not anything.
Okay, they've increased. Before
40,
doing ours, it was 70 for exam, 30
now it's 40, 60.
Okay.
So make sure that 40 you cross at least 38. That you failed, let it be 38. I don't think there's anything they will ask you during an exam that you'll be fumbling. You must have something to show, because a child that was following up during the assessment is already prepared for the exam. Don't wait till exam for you to read. That is the last point. Don't wait for it to be exam till you read. Start now to read from the day 1 start reading.
Auntie Ogonna, I feel like spending more time with you. If you're going to come and you keep coming, because there's so much to share. I mean, you have a lot to share with us. Thank you so much to Auntie Ogonna for being a part of our Tweenies Spot show today. We really need to run out of the studio right now. And she said so much, and I learned so much. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us. You have a lot, quite a lot. And like I said, you will still come again. Okay, Tweenies Spot show here on TV Sapiencia. We will return again at same time, same station next time. From me, Auntie Oma Sweetheart on TV, and of course Auntie Ogonna from Regina Patches Mother Secondary School. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye bye.